Hello, good evening, good morning to everybody who's joining us. We're going to wait a little bit before we actually start. Just let everybody come in. But meanwhile, please feel free to share on the chat where you're tuning in from. And if this is your first time or you've joined us before, we'd love to hear from you. Wow, so many people. Karen from Montreal, wonderful. We've got Norway, Santa Monica, Jerusalem, New York, Manhattan, Ocean Pines. Great to see everybody. I hope that you're all having a good morning where you are, or a good afternoon. Carol from Orlando, nice to see you. Barbara from Newton, Massachusetts, familiar. Great Neck, New Jersey, Great Neck, New York, sorry. New Jersey. Great to see everybody. We're going to wait just a little longer, make sure that everybody who wants to join us has been able to log on. We still got a minute to go. Philadelphia and San Francisco and North Carolina. Welcome, welcome. We're having quite a few people join us as we speak. Missouri. Hi, Suzanne from Missouri. Larry, hello, how are you? Barbara from Newton, Massachusetts. It's really great to see everybody, and I can see that there's some people online with us who are going to be joining us for the Eilat Bird Festival. Sorry, for the Hula Bird Festival in a couple of months. So really fantastic to see you with us, and a couple people that we know from the Eilat Bird Festival that we hold every year. So it's always great to see you guys joining us online. I'm going to give it another minute while we wait for everybody to join us. Meanwhile, we're live on Facebook. Patrick from Berlin, welcome. All right, get started. So good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're from. My name is Alan Casal from BirdLife Israel, which is part of the Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel. And we're so happy that you're joining us today in one of the many live webinars that we do here from Israel. We try to do a couple every spring and a couple every fall when the time difference aligns well with the US. And when, of course, we're in the height of migration, and right now we're, of course, in the height of the fall migration. It has started, it's going full guns, and we hope to show you some of the birds that are passing through and showing up at this point in time. With me today is Dr. Yoav Pillman, the director of BirdLife Israel, Noam Weiss, the director of the Eilat Bird Sanctuary down in Eilat, and Nadav Yisraeli, who's disappeared off the screen for a moment, is joining us from up in the Hula Valley in the north. And we'll be bouncing back and forth between these places. Yoav is sitting at the Neely and David Jerusalem Bird Observatory, along with Chaim Ba and some of the other volunteers that are helping with the bird ringing. So we're going to see some bird ringing, and we're going to see some birds from the north and the south. And hopefully we'll have a great hour for you, bouncing around and showing you what we can see. You're welcome to send questions to the Q&A and to the chat, and we'll try to answer as we go along. And meanwhile, I'm going to introduce Dr. Yoav Perlman and ask him to say a few words and get us started, because I know they have birds waiting for us in the ringing station.
Hi, good afternoon, good morning. Great to see so many familiar and friendly names in the chat. So again, I'm Yoav, broadcasting from the Nili and David Jerusalem Bird Observatory. With me here at the ringing table are Chaim. He's one of our ringers at the banding station, and Osnat. Osnat is one of our volunteers, but she's not just a volunteer. She's doing her civil service with us. So she's here full time for a couple of years, and she's training to become an expert ringer, and she's doing great. Behind us is now Yotam. He's the director of the Jerusalem Bird Observatory. So for those of you who haven't, this is Gabriel. So I have a large team of volunteers with us, which is great. So we're located in the center of Jerusalem. This is like a community-based bird observatory. We do bird monitoring, bird study here based on the ringing here. We do a lot of stuff with the data we collect from the ringing. But the core of our work here is to preserve and to develop the best stopover site we have for birds in Jerusalem. We're right in the center of Jerusalem. We have around us a really nice patch of natural scrub, and it's doing great serving birds as a stopover site. Just a reminder for everyone, Israel is right along the main bird migration flyway, bird migration highway. Birds moving now during fall migration from the breeding grounds in Europe and Asia towards Africa. And the stopover sites in Israel, you'll see a selection of the stopover sites we have here in Jerusalem, in Eilat, and in the Hula Valley in the north. They're super important for these birds, stopping over here, replenishing their energy stores, resting before crossing the vast desert belt to the south of us. So we're like the final stopover site before crossing a major ecological barrier, the desert. We monitor the birds here. We learn a lot about their migration and importantly, what they need when they stop over at our place. And we're trying to manage our site the best we can. Now, when I'm talking about flyway, we have evidence that all of our birds are connected. There are other monitoring projects north of us. For example, there's a great place to study bird migration of raptors, of birds of prey, in Batumi in Georgia. And we're in touch with them, and we see when the birds leave there and when they arrive here. Some birds even have satellite tags on them. We have radars monitoring the bird migration. So all of this flyway is really, really well studied, and all of this valuable information is used for better protection of the flyway so the birds can still travel back and forth despite all of the challenges that they're facing along the way. Back to the Jerusalem Bird Observatory, as I said, we have been doing bird study here since 1994. We've been monitoring birds in different ways, but bird banding, bird ringing is sort of our core activity. And we have been doing that for many years. We operate the banding program for bird migration during fall migration between September and November, and spring between March and May. And we have here banding every day. Most of our banding happens in the morning, but here in Israel, it's now afternoon, but we're doing like a special session, sort of out of the program session for this webinar, but still all the data we're collecting now is super valuable to understand bird migration and to improve our stopover sites for the birds. And now I want to show you some birds. So Chaim and Osnat are busy ringing birds. What do you have there, Chaim? It's a that's it. Okay, we have a very special bird, actually one very nice bird to start with. Okay, so we have here a pied flycatcher. Most of the birds we catch here are small migrants, small passerines. This is a pied flycatcher, quite a familiar European bird. Flycatchers, they're called flycatchers because they catch flying insects up in the air. Where's the camera? I'll try to get it close to the camera as much as I can. They have short legs. They don't jump much with their legs. Very long wings. Very, very long wings. So that's a young pied flycatcher. When I say young, it means that it hatched this summer somewhere in Europe. And it's now sort of halfway through its first migration in life. Okay, pied flycatcher. On its way to Africa, they breed in sort of woodlands in Europe. Okay, quite a scarce bird here in fall in Israel. We get more of them in spring. In Hebrew, chatafit shchorat oref, sorry. Okay, pied flycatcher. So that's a wonderful little bird. אפשר לשחרר, נכון? אתה רוצה?
גיל 3, נכון?
כן. Gabriel, one of our volunteers, will have a second look because it's quite a scarce bird. And we'll go directly to the next bird. We have a series of really nice birds I want to show you.
Someone's asking about how stressful it is for the birds to be.
Okay, so first of all the bird handling here is done by properly trained professionals who are doing it. All the birds are kept here for a very short time. We make sure that they're not harmed physically. To be honest, this isn't the happiest moment of their lives. However, birds, when they're on migration, they don't have time to waste on feeling sorry for themselves. As soon as we release them, a few minutes later, they're back in business. This is another lovely, lovely migrant, another familiar European migrant. This is a common nightingale. Okay, nightingale. Look at the big eye. They have relatively large eyes. Keeps looking at me rather than at the camera. Okay, so this is a common nightingale. We have two species of nightingale this time of year, thrush nightingale and common nightingale. Come on, show your face to the camera. Zamir Hayarden. Okay,
Probably one of the most common birds in poetry, right?
Right. Another long distance migrant from woodland in Europe to Africa. In many parts of Europe, in Western Europe, they're declining quite fast. Yeah, they're declining quite fast in Western Europe, but in Eastern Europe and in Western Asia, I think they're still doing quite okay. I'll try to focus. The camera is focusing on other things. Okay, maybe a bit closer to me, okay? So this is the common nightingale. I'll let it go. The common nightingales have long legs because they jump on the ground a lot, feed in the leaf litter, okay? I'll let the bird go.
Yoav, let's jump down to Noam for a second.
Okay,
for a couple minutes.
Let the bird go.
Okay.
Try to release the bird. So Noam, we're coming down to you to see what you got.
Okay, so welcome to down south Eilat. Migration is pretty awesome here too, and probably the most conspicuous bird right now at the flamingo pools are the flamingo, of course. There are a few hundreds of them. I don't know to say if it was a good breeding year for the flamingos or not. There are still very, very few young birds that we would have expected by now. So probably problematic year, but nevertheless, they are here in good numbers, at least the adults, and they seem to be washing themselves which means that they might take a flight today towards the south. So these flamingos that are almost always present in Eilat are actually migratory. They arrive from Iran, from Turkey, from Kazakhstan, maybe even from France, and they are on their way to Ethiopia. And the Eilat salt ponds, which is, of course, the man-made habitat, industrial habitat, is hosting them very beautifully. They enjoy all the shrimps, the brine shrimps in the water, and they just look really, really, really lovely. So you can see this is a really, really amazing bird. They are, of course, not alone. If you move the scope, we move a little bit, you can see there is a group of black-winged stilts that are in between the flamingos. Let me try and put them on. Here they are. Here is one, and there is here they are. So there's a bunch of black-winged stilts. These are breeding here at the salt ponds, at the flamingo pools, and nevertheless, many of them are migratory. And once I ringed one still that made it all the way to Chad. So these are definitely moving towards Africa all the time. It's actually bouncing with birds. I'll try later on to show you a few more species of shorebirds, which is exactly their time to move south. These birds are coming, some of them from high in the Arctics, and this is which is pretty freezing, getting frozen right now. So these birds are already making their way towards a more hospitable habitat down in Africa. And we are proud to have them here for the autumn. So from...
Noam, it seems like it's still pretty hot down there, judging by the heat waves that we can see.
Yes, we are still in the 40s, which is about 100 Fahrenheit. It's extremely windy, so if it's shaky, it's because I'm in the car. Outside the car, you will only see particles of movement. Yeah, it's pretty damn hot, but we are hoping for the best.
Great. Yoav, shall we bounce back to you? You have something for us? You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have a lovely, colorful bird for you. Okay. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. So I have a lovely, colorful bird for you. One of the brightest migrants we have. Ooh, he's a nice one. Here we go. Okay, so this is a beautiful common red start with a red tail, red start. This is a young male, now starting to develop its black throat. Still got a nice orangey underparts. This is again a migrant from the woodlands of Central Europe. Migrant from Central Europe, Eastern Europe, migrating to Africa with these long wings. Look at the beautiful orange color in the underwing. It is actually a relative of the nightingale from the chat family. They're not related to the American red starts. The American red starts are warblers. This is a chat. Very beautiful, a beautiful male common red start. So you can see by the demonstration of the birds that we have here, all of them are migrants from Central Europe, Eastern Europe, on their way to Africa. Chaim is actually ringing a mass strike now. We'll let this red star go. And we'll get the shrike in a second. In Hebrew, chachlilit etzim. So we have this special window that we let the bird go. Okay. So the birds, all the birds were trapped in the mist nets we have in the back here. Just a few minutes ago, we were holding them in these cloth bags for just a few minutes. We process them, take a few measurements, and let them go as quickly as we can. Have a noisy bird here. This is the band on the leg. Okay, so on the band, inscribed our serial number, and it's written that it's from Israel. So this is a young musk, right? Making a lot of noise. I hope you can hear me over the noise. They're quite aggressive birds. Ooh, another one. Two of them.
They're all over the place right now. I saw at
Yeah,
least
so we
3
have
in one
many,
spot
many
this
shrikes.
morning.
So these shrikes come from southeastern Europe and Turkey. What a shrike cacophony. They're the smallest of the shrikes we have here, but all shrikes are predators. They catch, well, from large beetles to reptiles and even small birds. They are passerized themselves. וואו, זאת דווקא נראית לי נקבה בוגרת, לא?
בוגרת?
זאת נראית נקבה, לא?
נקבה, אבל...
זאת צעיר?
זה צעיר.
זאת צעיר? זאת נקבה בוגרת, לא? So this is actually an adult female, and this is the young bird. I'll let them go, I think. Fantastic bird, these mass shrikes. We have tons of mass shrikes this time of year of several species. Maybe the commonest is red-backed shrike, but we still have plenty of these mass shrikes. The males have nice rufous or orange tones to the breast. This is an adult female. You see that has some, like a bare patch on its forehead. It might have bumped into something like a window or something. Something happened to it. It's still okay. It feels fit and full of energy, but it had some kind of a mishap. It's healed already. I mean, it's not fresh. I'll try to show you from closer. Can you see this patch? So many of the birds, they face all kinds of different challenges on the way. Some don't make it, but those who make it are the fittest. Fantastic bird. I'll let it go.
And Yoav, this is something we're studying here right now in Israel, is the effect of glass and collisions of birds into glass windows and walls and so on, and how many birds are
That's
being
right.
killed
In
every
North
year.
America, this threat for birds is well studied, well documented. Still, there's a lot to do in North America. In Israel, we're just scratching the surface in the amount of data we have. I think that possibly it's not as bad in Israel as it is, especially on the east coast of North America. There's some dramatic collision events there in different conditions. In Israel, possibly less so, but we're not quite sure. This year, we're doing a project together with Tel Aviv University, trying to quantify this threat to birds a bit better. So this is another common migrant, common reed warbler. In Hebrew, kanit ktana. Turn your head towards the camera, babe. Okay, common reed warbler. Another long distance migrant. One of the many warblers that we catch here at the Jerusalem Bird Observatory. Again, these long wings that enable it to cross the desert, and they're on their way to the swamps of East Africa, in Sudan, in the Rift Valley lakes of East Africa. They're reedbed birds. We have many reed warblers here in Jerusalem, despite not having it's quite a dry part of the country. But about 15 years ago, we dug a pond, the Nieman Pond, supported by one of our supporters. And the pond here attracts large numbers of these wetland birds like these reed warblers. And since we dug that pond, their numbers here at the Jerusalem Bird Observatory have risen. We know that our reed warblers come from Eastern Europe mainly. This morning at the rigging station in Eilat, Noam and his team trapped a reed warbler from Hungary with a ring from Hungary. We catch some birds here from Central Eastern Europe as well. And this is where they go. So they breed in Central Eastern Europe, stop over in Israel, and migrate on to Africa. Do we want to shift to Noam? Noam has something I see, maybe?
Yep, Noam, we're gonna come down to you. Thank you, Yoav. What you
Okay,
got,
it's
Noam?
pretty tough to show because everything is moving here. And this bird is not very showy with the bill. I'll try this one just next to it. Let's see. And this one now stuck its bill inside too. But this is the godwit. And what's to see about godwits is their huge bills. The black-tailed godwit. Another migrant. Sorry, it's very windy here. Another migrant which is passing here along with many other shorebirds. I'm really close to it. I just hold the telescope with my hands on the window, as stable as I can, but and it's pretty hard to focus. But just to give you a glimpse of diversity, I will try later to show you some more of these amazing shorebirds that are stopovering here. Actually, there are a few hundreds, probably almost 1,000 shorebirds that are now stopovering here at the Eilat Flamingo Pools just right now. But I don't think it's an amazing view, so maybe I'll pass it back to you guys.
Okay. So Yoav, I'm coming up to you. Nadav, you have anything to show us?
Not yet, I'm sorry, still looking.
So we
Okay.
can never quite predict what the weather's going to be like when we set up one of our webinars, and both Noam and Nadav are facing some pretty strong winds out there. We're hoping
Usually
that
our
it'll
afternoons are windy. Mornings are
Yeah.
quiet, and in many places the afternoons are windy. But okay,
Yeah.
luckily
Hopefully it'll
we
die
have
down a little bit and
plenty of
you'll
birds
see.
at the Jerusalem Bird Observatory.
Yep.
Let's do a quick quiz. Can anyone identify this bird? Anyone from our guests? Let's see if there are responses. Patrick, I'm sure that you know what this is. Any guesses? Can anyone guess what this bird is? It's quite a large warbler with a short and thick bill. White throat is quite a close guess, but not quite there. Look how plain this bird is. Really
Kind of boring, if you would ask me.
The focus is on your face, you have, and not on the bird. So maybe
There we go.
in
That's a
the
little
center.
better. Not a waxwing. Oh, we have an answer. Garden warbler.
Perfect. That's a garden warbler. Again, a rather scarce bird in Israel. We have a few other Sylvia or Kuruka warblers that are commoner in Israel in fall, but we got this one a few minutes ago. So this is a garden warbler, another long distance migrant. Check those long wings. For me, garden warbler is one of the examples of birds that are not very colorful, but they're so beautiful, so neat and so beautiful. Garden warbler.
Diana is commenting on how big the eyes are.
Yeah, so many of these migrants, they migrate at night. That's why they have larger eyes, so they can see at night. Again, these birds originate from the wooded or forested areas of Europe on the way to the forest areas of Africa. So in East Africa, Central Africa, some forest areas, this is where they go. They feed on insects, arthropods, and berries, fruit along the way. Garden warbler. אוקיי? מישהו רוצה אותו, את הסבכי? סבכי אפור. Again, it's a scarce bird, so one of the volunteers תביא לי אותו. Okay.
So Margie was asking if people can come and visit the pond in Jerusalem, and you can absolutely all the time. The bird hide at the bird observatory is open 24/7, free of charge. You can come and sit and enjoy the pond, the birds that are coming to the pond to drink and to bathe at any time.
Okay, I have another quiz.
Mm.
Oh, that's a tougher one. Let's do another quiz. Again, I think Patrick would know what this one is. Look at the dark hood, the pale eye. It's a large Sylvia warbler, one of the largest, with a dark hood and a pale eye. Any idea what this large warbler is? Large Sylvia warbler.
Beautiful singer too.
It's not common. It's quite close to Sardinian warbler, but Sardinian warbler is much smaller. This is one of the largest warblers, the size of a barred warbler. מיכל גלעדי, הוא דומה לסבכי טוחנים, אבל לא כל כך. Yeah, sure, there are deforestation problems in Europe and Africa, especially in Africa. And indeed, some of the migratory birds are suffering from that. But let's see, what about this bird? Still, any guesses? Hey, perfect.
Wow.
Someone said Orphean warbler. Yay, that's right. So this is an Eastern Orphean warbler. There's a Western Orphean warbler that breeds in Iberia. And this is the Eastern Orphean warbler that breeds in Southeastern Europe, Turkey, and even in Northern Israel. They migrate through Israel this time of year. What's interesting about these Sylvia warblers is that they time their migration perfectly with the ripening of a few fruiting trees here, especially pistachio trees. They have wonderful pink fruit that these Sylvia warblers or Kuruka warblers love to feed on in autumn. And the birds time their migration exactly, perfectly to arrive here when the fruits ripen. And they feed on the fruit. They gain energy and water from the fruit. And in return, they disperse the seeds for the trees. So Eastern Orphean can go. And we have here, I think it's probably the commonest bird that we ring or band at the Jerusalem Bird Observatory every year. Pose yourself nicely. This is the blackcap. Okay, the Eurasian blackcap. This is a young bird, so the cap isn't quite as black. סבכי שחור כיפה בעברית. So the cap is mixed with a bit of brown. Okay, so this is the black cap. Again, a common warbler that breeds in Central Europe, Eastern Europe. That's what we know based on the banding retraps or the recoveries here in Israel on their way to Africa. Now, what's amazing about this bird, it's young, okay? So this is its first migration in life. But it migrates on its own, without its parents, without its siblings, not in a flock. Each bird migrates individually, and they face all of these amazing challenges along the way. Weather predators, infrastructure, מה יש? דבורה שחורת כתף?
בסוכלות? נמשכת?
We just heard that there's a black-winged kite at the JBO outside here. All the crows are going crazy. So yeah, so these birds, they do these amazing flights on their own, about 8,000 miles each way. Amazing challenges, but they still manage to do it. The first, okay, this is another black up. Okay, I have an adult black up here. Check the difference in the color of the cap. This is a solid black cap and a brownish cap, an adult male and a young male. The first migration is indeed very challenging for these birds. I would say probably half of the young birds don't make it, but the half that does make it, they are the fittest and strongest and will make it back to the breeding grounds next year. So neat with these long wings. That's right. That's right, Patrick, you're right. They actually don't sink too much during the fall migration in Israel, just a bit. Patrick, who's joined us, is a bird sound expert from Germany. He spends quite a lot of time in Israel, and I hope, Patrick, you'll make it back to Israel in the next few months when you get back from Peru. Black up, go back to feeding in the pistachio bushes. Oop, went the other way. Anyone else? Oh, I see Noam has some shorebirds.
Let's jump to Noam and see what he's got. Noam, we're
Yeah,
coming
a
to
little bit
you.
struggling. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little out of focus still,
Yes, I know,
but
but
we know the heat's
so the camera has trouble, but what you can see here is the abundance and also the diversity of species, Mars sandpipers, common redshank, greenshank, little string plovers, ruffs are all over the place, blackwing silk. This is what's so beautiful about this place is that in one spot you can probably see 20 different species of waders in one place. So all pretty neat. Here is a beautiful marsh sandpiper, I think. Not very sharp for me too. It has green shank, ruffs, and you can see they're all feasting. And as it's getting closer to the evening, so they are getting ready for migration, and the night is going to be a long one. You're going to have an eclipse. Be nice for us, but I don't think they care too much. They will just head south as fast as possible. But as you can see, the camera has really big trouble to focus because of the movement of the wind. I think I'll try and move to another man-made habitat, the switch pond, and close by. The raft has just arrived, enjoying the feast here. You can see the little things. Yeah, well, they're all pretty small and gray, aren't they? So you have the Mars sandpiper, raft, the green shank, and the things here.
okay. So hopefully the wind won't affect you too much in the next site. We'll come back to you when you're there. It looks like an exciting
I
group
have
of them there, though.
I have two more quizzes.
Well, before you jump into the quiz, Yoav,
Okay.
so there was a couple questions. One was why don't the birds travel in families?
Okay.
And then someone asked, isn't it possible, Hannah is asking, isn't it possible some of those birds are carriers of diseases from the African wetlands? And why are you not wearing masks and gloves? And how do you protect yourself from contamination?
Okay.
Have you questions?
First of all, great questions, and thanks for asking. I'll answer the first one. Some birds do travel in family groups or in flocks, but most of the migrants, passerines we get in Israel, travel individually. What happens is that for many species, the adults leave in a different, or leave the breeding grounds after breeding in a different timing than young birds. They molt, some of them molt differently. And I think, it's something also about competition. The adults want to make sure that they leave on time to get back on time at the fittest form, and then reduce the competition with the young birds. So most of our birds actually travel individually, and it's a strategy that has, managed to go through evolution, and it works like that. Regarding diseases, indeed, some birds do carry diseases. We have done a lot of work on which diseases birds carry. Even these small birds carry diseases like West Nile fever and others. However, migratory birds, as we said, they face extreme challenges. And a bird that's not 100% fit, it won't make it. Even if its capacity is dropped by 10%, 15%, it just won't make it. So birds that manage to cross the desert or come here on migration, we're sure that they're in top form and they're healthy. Some of them are carriers, as we said, and indeed birds, even small birds, are carriers, like vectors that move diseases from place to place. We don't wear masks because we try not to kiss the birds or lick the birds. With these birds of, dry areas also, very few birds are, well, I wouldn't say that none are sick or ill, but very, very, very few. In any case, before, after finishing, the bird handling, we always wash our hands properly with soap, especially before eating or drinking. That's for sure. When we work in wetlands and we trap wetland birds, we do protect ourselves more. When we had avian flu outbreaks in Israel, indeed, we worked with gloves and masks. But nowadays, it is pretty safe, and I trust our birds that made it here, that they are quite healthy and fit. I want to show you another cool bird.
I should add to what Noam Yoav was saying, and saying that the ringers do wash their hands thoroughly between handling the birds and eating or handling food, and the bags that the birds are kept in between coming out of the net and being ringed are washed frequently, so there's no cross contamination between birds as well. So we do try to do as much as possible to reduce any possibility. What you got
Okay, I have another quiz. Let's see. So it's another warbler with
there? Long beak.
show your head. It keeps looking at me. It's got quite a thick bill, very long pointed wings, relatively short and pale claws. Not sure. Short and pale claws. Look at the very pointed wingtip with a very short emargination. A bit more greenish than the reed warbler we saw before. Any guesses what this is?
It's a nice long tail.
A hint, it's again quite a scarce bird in Israel. Keeps turning its head.
No bites this time.
No bites. What about you, Alan? Any guess?
I have some guesses. Can't see it that good. Are we looking at an olive tree?
No, quite close. It is an acrocephalus warbler, like a close relative of the reed warbler. What about you, Patrick? Any ideas?
Upchers?
No?
Can't quite see it.
Not olivaceous. So it's an acrocephalus warbler, not an iduna warbler.
Huh.
Okay, so this is a marsh warbler.
Ah,
Okay, quite a scarce
didn't know
bird,
that.
but at the JBO this time of year, we get one almost every day. Marsh warbler with a slightly thicker bill, short claws, very pointed wings. It's another nice long distance migrant going to Africa. Compared to
Very
the
nice.
warblers that are really wetland birds, they breed on the edges of the wetlands in bushes, so they have shorter claws. In Hebrew, kanit bitzot, marsh warbler. And that's a very nice one. Cool. And then I have another quiz with another bird that we haven't seen today yet.
You guys are having a great mix
We have
of
an amazing selection here.
yeah.
It's fantastic. This is another very cool bird.
Alan wants to know, what do you do if you find a bird who is ill or injured in some way? Do
If
you
we
treat
find a
it?
bird that's ill or injured, we take it into care. There are some professional places to treat wild birds, and we transport them there, and they treat. We give them some first aid, what we can here, but we're not vets, so we take them to vets. How often do we catch birds that have already been banded? Birds that stay locally, I would say it's about 10 to 20% every day. So we have quite a large turnover. About 80% of the birds are new every day, but 10 to 20% stay here for longer. Okay, so what do we have here? Turn around nicely. Okay, so we have quite a large bird with a bit of a spotty breast, a bit of a pattern on the breast, whitish throat, that big eye, long legs, so quite a dark brown tail. Any guesses? I'll give you a hint. It's related to one of the first birds that we saw this session.
I think you mentioned its name as well earlier.
Okay. I'm trying to, yeah, it is a nightingale. You're right, but which nightingale? Look at those spots on the breast.
David says nightingale thrush.
So it is a nightingale indeed, sort of colder tone than the previous nightingale that we had with a bit of a spotty breast. This is a thrush nightingale. In Hebrew, Zamir Menumar. So we had both nightingale species here today. Very nice selection. Look at that tail. It's not as warm toned, almost orange tail of the previous nightingale, the common nightingale that we had. This one has even longer wings than the common nightingale. They migrate longer. They breed more to the north and east than the common nightingale, and migrate all the way down to Southeast Africa, some all the way down to South Africa.
Yoav,
Thrush
I'm going to bump
nightingale.
away from you right now, even though it's a great bird, because I think
Okay.
Nadav has something great to
Hey,
show us
finally.
up in the hula. Nadav, what are we looking at?
Yeah, hi everybody. I wanted to, if we're continue the quizzes. Anybody has an idea what are we looking at? It's a small bird, the size of the warblers that Yoav was handling before. But look at this wonderful eyebrow and the pattern on the back. This is a winchat. דוחל חום, just flew, דוחל חום גרון בעברית. Another European migrant, they come to us from a wide range in Europe. We just moved to another perch. If we try and get it, slightly further away. Where are you? Stay with me just a little bit longer.
You in a hayfield?
I'm in a hayfield, and this wind chat is looking for insects. This hayfield was just cut 2 days ago, and today they were making bales out of the hay, and so there's a lot of insects around that were being moved by the cutting of the hay, and wind chat and other migrating birds are very happy with this situation because they have perches to perch on and a lot of food around. Again, you see how often he jumps to the ground to grab an insect. Oh, he's feeding as we speak. Okay. I didn't see exactly what he got. Maybe some kind of caterpillar.
Yes, it was a small green caterpillar.
Full of protein to help him gain fat to cross the Sahara Desert, because this bird will leave Israel in a few days or a week and will continue south to cross the desert belt, as Yoav mentioned before. So it's facing 2,500 or even 3,000 kilometers of a desert with little, if at all, places to stop and feed and drink. So it's crucial for them to gain enough, to eat enough and gain enough fat before they before they continue their journey over the Sahara Desert. Millions of those little songbirds are migrating over Israel. They migrate at night, and during the day, in places with enough food, they stop, they forage, they feed, and they accumulate fat. Maybe Yoav will be able to show that at the ringing station later. And when they're full of fat, they can continue their journey over the desert. So if you look at it closely, sometimes it turns its head to the side. Usually that's because there's a raptor up in the sky passing. Birds cannot turn their eyes inside cannot turn around their eyeballs inside their eye sockets. So they have to turn the entire head to tilt it to the side to look up. And while we speak, there's a raptor's migration just over our head. So this wind chats from time to time was tilting its head to look up to see if to make sure none of the honey buzzards and black kites that are migrating over is trying to get him as a protein snack for the way. He just left, so I'll be looking for other birds. I'll continue looking for other birds in this field, and maybe we'll be lucky and I'll be able to show you something else.
Thanks, Nadav. I'm just going to jump down to Noam because I see that he's arrived at his new site.
Okay, yeah.
How's the wind there?
Still struggling with the wind. I'm now at the sewage ponds of Elat, which is a project that we have done a project here in the last 3 years of refining the habitat from a pretty disastrous site with lots of birds damaged into a kind of oasis for birds. This is our floating breeding island that you can see that the spur-wing lapwings have used during summer. And when the cormorants come, they really love the place. And in the water, it's a bit hard to see there are some coots. There are a few hundreds of garganis, but they are just against the sun, I'm sorry. And some shovelers that have arrived already for winter. So yes, so there are some birds arriving, but this place is basically a winter place. So this is just starting here. But I will show you what we've built here. So if you remember what the bird watchers called K19 or the Eilat switch pond is now very different with a beautiful hide. And look at the habitat with the reeds, with the floating island. You can see this has become from a pretty difficult place for birds, always attracted a lot of birds, but vegetation used to be cut often, and nowadays it is far more careful. And you can see this is what we call rewilding in a site which is still used as a reservoir, as a filter for sewage, recycled sewage water, which is used in agriculture here in Southern Arava, which is very, very dry. So at least the habitat looks pretty amazing today. Look at this. You can see these pylons, these sticks that are sticking out, and behind them there is a fence. That's the border fence with Jordan. It's with barbed wire on the top, and far, far away on the horizon, you can see some power lines that have been pretty bad for birds. We have protected some of the pylons, but some are more difficult to protect, and birds got electrocuted there. This is why we have used these pylons to create an alternative perches for birds, so they can perch safely in their chosen habitat, the habitat that they like, and these are safe perches. So that's another project of ours. And down here, you can see an area which has no vegetation. So this is the drinking spot. Traditionally, the Liechtenstein drinking spot. They left the place because it got a bit messed and with disturbance. Now they drink in another site that we are monitoring. But at the moment, it's mainly for, you see lots of collared doves are arriving to drink here. So it's quite cool, and we are pretty sure that it's only a matter of time before the sand grouse come back to use this beautiful site. So this is our renewed sewage ponds. So taking a habitat that was a liability and creating an amazing asset. And of course, it couldn't have been done without the water company of Eilat that spent here hundreds of thousands of shekels, and the land authority, which put more than 1 million shekel in this site just for the sake of these birds.
Thank you, Noam. It's turning into a really beautiful site, and last time I was there was so many birds. It's wonderful. And Yoav, as we come back to you, there's a couple questions regarding migration. Um, First of all, how many days do birds stick around? How long does it take them to reach Africa? And why is it that they go on to Africa instead of just staying here in Israel for the winter, which some of
Yeah.
them do?
Yeah. So, yeah, we have been asked a bunch of very interesting questions about, the very fundamental challenges and topics of bird migration. Basically, birds travel these long distances following the changing in the world of the regions of light. So when the days get shorter in the northern hemisphere, they migrate through Israel to Africa, where the days are longer. So some birds indeed do stay over in Israel for the winter. The winter in Israel is quite okay, and certainly with climate change, our winters are becoming milder and milder, and indeed some birds are choosing to spend the winter. For example, in the Hula Valley, where the wind chat was shown by Nadav, it's a super important winter site for many, many species. However, still, many birds, hundreds of millions of birds, migrate through Israel to Africa every year. And they do that because of the rich habitats in Africa, and especially the long days in Africa, close to the equator, when in the northern hemisphere, the days are getting shorter and shorter. Many of the birds stop over in Israel for short periods. Some birds just stop here for a day or a night and then move on. Others would stop here for longer. Some birds stop here at the Jerusalem Bird Observatory for a week or 10 days until they gain enough energy to move on. They store the energy in fat reserves that they have here in a cavity in the breast. I'll try to show you the cavity with the fat. This is a lesser whitethroat, by the way, one of the bird species that we catch here at the largest numbers. Lesser whitethroat, it's another warbler. Unfortunately, compared to the North American warblers, our warblers are mostly gray and brown, or brown and gray, or grayish brown or brownish olive, compared to all of the beautiful, colorful North American warblers. But hey ho, these are great birds as well. And as I said, lesser whitethroat. We have ringing recoveries or banding recoveries of these lesser whitethroats from Western Europe, the UK, Scandinavia, the Low Countries, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany. This is where at least some of our birds come from, and they migrate to Africa. So I'll show you the cavity here. I hope I can show it. So this bird has quite an empty cavity, just a little bit of fat. It's like a gas tank of a car, almost empty, and it probably needs to fill it up. And it will stay here maybe for a few days or a week, feed and feed and feed and feed, forage and forage, and fill it up. And I'll show you now another bird with a full tank ready to go. So
Okay, hang on, Yoav, because there's stuff happening in
just
both the north
bear
and the
with me
south.
bear with me for
One more minute, okay?
one moment.
And then we'll jump down
A
to
bird that needs to go. I kept it especially for you, so just
okay.
and I'll just show you very full fat cavity of a female black cap. So that's a female black cap with a brown cap, and it's full of fat.
It can be a little hard to see, but the skin of the bird is very translucent, so you can actually see the fat, which looks
Yeah.
yellowish compared to the
And there's
reddish
no cavity.
muscle. Yeah.
The tank is totally full, and the bird is carrying its own weight with fat. It's doubled its weight with fat. And I assume that this evening, 7:30 or 8 o'clock, this bird will take off and keep on flying. Some will fly nonstop till the Nile, maybe 1,000 miles nonstop.
Fantastic.
Off to
Let's
Noam.
just jump to who should I go to first? To Noam. Noam, you have a beautiful heron sitting there.
Yeah, just a short stop in Eilat again. It's a squawko heron, another migratory species, pretty camouflaged, young, beautiful bird. When they fly, they're totally white. It looks like egrets, but when they land, you can hardly see them. You can see it is also struggling the wind a little bit. Sorry, the focus is not very responsive at the moment, but you can see this bird is sitting on the wing, on this branch, waiting for some movement below it. Maybe for a fish, but more likely for dragonflies. Dragonflies are flooding us. There are so many of them migrating over Eilat, and these guys are just waiting for the dragonflies. And even if they look pretty chubby, when when they stretch their necks, it's like a spring flying extremely fast towards the dragonfly, which has no chance whatsoever. So you see this beautiful bird is actually a very fierce predator waiting for its chance to arrive.
And if anyone hasn't seen dragonfly migration, it's quite amazing to see all these dragonflies flying over. We once were asked if we were having a locust infestation last spring, but they're just so numerous, and of course they provide very important food source for all the migrating birds that are going through. Thanks, Noam. We're going to jump back up to Nadav. Nadav, you have some interesting visitors walking around there, early ones.
Yeah, well, early or late, so probably late.
Together.
Uh, these are common cranes. Uh, those of you who will come visit me at the Hula Valley Bird Festival this coming autumn, we'll hopefully see many more of those. Common cranes are quite common winter visitors to the Hula Valley in for about 30 something years now. In the tens of thousands, up to 50,000 common cranes were spending the winters in the Hula Valley. Their numbers have decreased in the past 5 years or so. A part of it is due to the avian influenza outbreak we had here. We lost about 8,000 cranes in one outbreak, and then a couple of hundreds more 2 years later. But the population of them is quite strong, and they're doing well. Usually, cranes uh, don't stay for the summer in Israel, but this is a group of a few tens, like 40 to 50 cranes, mostly young birds that were left here by their parents in the spring, last spring, I mean, and they just stayed here in the Hula Valley, lingering around, foraging for food, and having a good time. If you stay a bit longer with me, I'll try to pan my scope. I'm not sure if you can see. It's quite far. Well, let's pan it a bit further. There's a group of raptors on the ground.
Yeah, we can
Can
make
you
them
see
out.
it, Alan?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just to show you, I'll try to get closer in a
But
minute.
Nadav, maybe show us a stork. We saw a stork quite close to you.
Okay. So the group of, well, maybe, there's a group of glossy ibises very close to me. They're getting even closer when I spoke about the cranes. So you can have a close look on the glossy ibises. These are beautiful birds. Focus. Okay. Glossy ibises breed in Israel in growing numbers. Is it focused? I can't see because of the
It
sun.
goes in and out, yeah. It's a little out
In
of
and out.
focus. There we go.
Okay. So I think we have a mixture. I can't see, the sun is reflecting on my screen, but you can see why they're called glossy, right? They're shining in colors of green and red. The basic color is brown. In Hebrew, they're called maglan chum. And they're searching this field for food. They feed on seeds and grains mainly, but on arthropods as well, with their long curved bills. So they just forage for food here. And you have asked me to show you the stork. So
While you're looking, because we're coming down to the end of our time, but we'll keep going a little bit as long as people are with us. There is a
Okay.
question of how climate change is affecting bird populations and migration, and maybe you or Yoav would like to address that while we look for the
I,
stork.
I think you're the man to address that.
But
I'll
we
show
can
you the
talk while
stork.
admiring the white stork. One of many storks passing through Israel this time of year, something like 300 to 500,000 storks pass through Israel every fall. All the storks of Central, Eastern Europe, and Western Asia funnel through Israel on their way to Africa. Climate change and bird migration is a very, very complex issue. First of all, it's not climate change only. We're in the midst of the climate and biodiversity crisis, and it's affecting wildlife populations in many, many ways. What we can say about migratory birds is that climate can affect bird migration directly. Birds, especially birds that breed closer to the poles, closer to the North Pole in this case, they suffer even more with the earlier arriving spring and mismatch of bird migration with other biological processes. Some birds have to migrate longer distances, because of climate change. And we see, indeed changes in bird migration phenology. This is one of the studies that we're doing here at the Jerusalem Bird Observatory, trying to track changes in bird migration phenology. Phenology means timing and numbers, which birds come earlier, which birds come later, and which birds are more and which birds are less. And we use our data here to try and understand some of these processes at the JBO. Our science program here at the JBO is one of the main sources of information here in Israel on the link between climate change and bird migration. And as I said, it's sort of interlinked with the biodiversity crisis. We see drops in bird populations in many parts of Europe and Asia, and indeed in Africa. There are big problems as well. It's linked with habitat loss, habitat destruction. So indeed, the birds that do these long migrations are one of the most threatened groups of birds. But that's why what we do here in Israel, the SPNI BirdLife Israel, is so important for these migratory birds. We protect habitats, we restore habitats, we protect these stopover sites for the birds. So the birds that stop here have a better chance to complete their arduous challenges. And we really do our best to keep this flyway safe and open and rich for these migratory birds. The challenges are great, but with your support, we have a better chance to deal with these challenges.
And Yoav, there's been a couple questions talking about challenges about Sudan and Ukraine and Israel with all the conflicts around the world. How is this affecting migration?
Well, I'll say the bottom line is that conflict is not good for nature. Nature usually usually suffers from conflicts. Of course, the humans suffer from conflicts as well, but nature certainly suffer from conflict directly and indirectly. Some of these migratory birds, they have, their migratory routes with the stopover sites sort of implanted through evolution, and they keep going, without looking down or around that much. However, with the intensifying wars And here in Israel, the war is, almost 2 years of war now. More and more damage to stopover sites. And indeed, it's a big challenge. But as I said, we're doing our best to protect stopover sites, to restore stopover sites. And we're hoping that these migratory birds will keep going despite everything that we're doing on the ground. I suggest, Alan, it is getting late and our time is
Yes.
up. Certainly people can ask us more questions on Facebook or send us an email, and we'll try to respond as quickly as possible
I'm
to.
putting my email into the chat as we speak. I know that there are questions we did not get to.
Yeah, so many good
So please,
questions, but our time is up here as well.
yes, please send us your questions, and we will be back broadcasting again on the 5th of October so we can continue the discussion, hopefully with new birds and different things to see. So please come back and join us on the 5th of October. This is a beautiful glossy ibis. I hate to close the
Yeah.
video while he's going.
I want to say something, Alan, before
Yeah.
you sign off. I wanted to thank all of our supporters all over the world and in Israel for joining these webinars and for supporting our work in Israel. I think this is the last webinar we'll be doing before Rosh Hashanah, before the Jewish New Year. So it's a good opportunity to say Shana Tova, Happy New Year to all the people of Israel, all the people of the world. Certainly, we have a lot to look forward to for a better year here in Israel. We want to see the hostages back. We want to see this war end. We want to see the suffering end now, not tomorrow, today. And we hope for better times and peace to resume here. And these birds really give us hope for better days, for better times here in Israel. Amen, indeed. Shana Tova, and thank you to everyone for your support.
Thank you, Yoav. Thank you, Noam. Thank you,
And thank you to all
Dav.
the team that was here, Nadav,
Yes,
Noam, all the rest of the BirdLife team.
and
Thank you
and
to you,
and
Alan, as well.
Chaim and the crew back in the ringing station. We will see you all on October 5th. Stay well and keep looking up. The birds are migrating all over the world. Take care.
Shana Tova. Thank you.
Bye bye.